Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Firdanifah. My student number is 1. In this video, I would like to tell you about my annotated bibliography of 6 articles that has the title Language Learning Strategies that EFL used on learning English as a language. So without any further ado, let's get into the first article. So the first article is a study of factors affecting college students' use of ESL vocabulary learning strategies. This article was investigate on how do learner variables, including language proficiency, motivation, effort, and family background affect college students' ESL vocabulary strategies. The background of this research is how big the impact of motivation, family background, effort, and language proficiency to learn English at Fuyin University, Taiwan. The researcher decides to investigate this case at Fuyin University, Taiwan. The participants of this research were about 450 first grade students who consist largely of females with an average age of 19 to 22 years old, and their first language is Mandarin Chinese. The researcher used two methods to gain their research question. The first one is TOEFL Bridge and the second one questionnaire. The result of this research is family background effect that much on their study, especially their motivation, among other factors, motivation and language proficiency and effort. The researchers said that family involvement plays an important role in foreign language learning. For the motivation and language proficiency, students who had high motivation were students that already learned the language for years and had much effort while studying the language. Now we get into the second article, which is factors affecting students' language learning at school. This article was examining factors affecting vocabulary learning strategies or VLS among Saudi students studying Saudi school in Malaysia or SSM. This article talks about VLS or vocabulary learning strategies that happened among Saudi students who are studying in Saudi school in Malaysia. The researcher trying to find the definition of VLS, but they haven't found it until now. Various strategies that have been applied for this study, such as social strategy, consolidation strategy, memory strategy, cognitive strategy, and metacognitive strategy. Among those strategies, only social strategy that failed to be applied on students because of the different personalities of each student that make it hard to figure out whether it's failed or not. The researcher conducted the participants who were Saudi students of SSM, and the data were collected by interview, papers, semi-structured, and class observation. From that research, the researchers knows the factor that affecting the students' strategies to learn English vocabulary were learning environment, attitudes and belief, and the last one, motivation. The third article was how successful learners employ learning strategies in an EFL setting in the Indonesian context. This article has aimed to identify language learning strategies of learners of EFL in Indonesian setting. A measurement developed in the basics of their cultural setting needs to be explored. The background of this article was what were learning strategies that Indonesians applied when they learned English as a foreign language, because based on other researchers, different culture can make it difficult to learn English. The researcher makes 2 research questions for this research, and from that we can know that the purpose of this research was to identify what language learning strategies that Indonesian students applied to learn English as a foreign language. The researcher used 2 instruments for this research: questionnaire and test. The test, or LLSQ and ITP TOEFL, from 73 participants from an English department in the Faculty of Education in Indonesia, range from 19 to 21 years old. The result of this research was listening and speaking strategies was the most used by Indonesian students to learn English, along with cognitive, metacognitive, and social strategies. Next, the 4th article is Learning English as Thai Adult Learners, an insight into experience in using learning strategies. The aim of this article was to understand the language learning strategies of Thai adult learner use and factors affecting their strategies use. This article talks about Thai adult learners who learn English and what strategies that they use to master the language. The researcher used 2 methods to get the answer. There are questionnaire using SEAL and semi-structured interview, and the participant of this research was 40 Thai adult learners who were officers of a general service division of the Council of State of Thailand, and it divided into 3 different levels, such as high proficiency, intermediate proficiency, and low proficiency, to get more specific or detailed result. The result was most of Thai adult learners watch television, listen to radio, podcasts, music, or write down the word to facilitate their memory recall. But some of them use strategy items and focus on more specific aspects of their speaking skill and do lots of practice to make their oral skill perfect. The 5th article was Speaking Practice Support System for Japanese Learners of English and Investigation of Learning Strategies and Pattern through Learning Log Data. The aim of this article was to support Japanese English learners to speak fluently and accurately with the use of text-to-speech or TTS technology. This research was about teaching Japanese to learn English as a foreign language through technology called TTS or text-to-speech, and investigates the relationship between learners, learning strategies, and learning behavior pattern on the basis of log data collected by the system. The researcher used this technology because it has potential impact for education, and most of learners use it to learn language. This study was conducted in a junior high school and a senior high school in Japan. The result was that there were significant differences in speaking tests between TTS user and non-TTS user. The participants of this research were 82 participants from upper level and lower level class. The last article was Learning Motivation and Strategies of ESP University Student. The purpose of this article was to learn a language effectively. Several factors play a major role, and among those The following two are analyzed in this research words. ELM or English Learning Motivation and ELS or English Learning Strategies. The research was about age and motivation on its student who learn an English as foreign language on Faculty of Engineering in Bilbao, Spain, and what their strategies to learn the language itself. The participants of this research were about 208 students, which divided into two groups, a group of pilot study and a full-scale study. The researcher used only questionnaire for this research. There are actually 15 questions for this questionnaire, but the researcher divide it into two groups, 35 for pilot student and 25 questions for student on full-scale study. The questions were about strategies that they use to learn the language, their age and sex, and their intrinsic and extrinsic motivation to learn the language. The result of this study was each student for each group using different strategies to learn the language based on their gender and age range. The conclusion of all the article was it basically talk about language learning strategies but in different contexts. Like what I explained earlier, there are some articles that use language learning strategies and applied it into TTS technology or VLS. As a student or learners who learn English as foreign language, when we learn the language, of course, we need more than one strategies, and it a must for us because it can make us easier to learn the language. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.